Today, we talk about
All right, time to answer the hard-hitting questions. So, why am I in Iowa yet also in this amazing best city of our lives, New York? Well, here's the deal. I am doing something called locum tenens, which basically is another way of saying mercenary for hire, essentially. And the way it works is, as a doctor, I had a few choices once I was done with my training. I could have joined a private practice. I could have just joined a hospital system and just become a salaried employee for them, just working as a doctor in a hospital corporate structure, essentially. And then the other option I had was to start my own practice. And then there's another option. I mean, I'm sure there's a few other options, who knows? But the other option is this locums business. So the way locums works is you have usually remote places that have a hard time either recruiting people to work there as a doctor, or they're just short-staffed because there just isn't enough of that specialist around that area. Again, usually remote areas of the United States, smaller areas of the United States, or less populated areas. So highly doubt you could find such a position in New York City, but occasionally those kind of things do come up on a short-term basis, like if a partner in a practice or a hospital employed physician is on maternity leave or is retiring or sick or whatever. So if there's a demand for that kind of position, then some of these agencies link up with doctors and then also link up with hospitals or private practices that choose to get the help of one of these agencies, and they try to pair up people who are looking for physicians for whatever specialty, and then physicians of those specialties who are looking for jobs in that kind of line of work. So you have a few options. One is you either are already in a private practice, or you have a certain amount of time off per year that you want to use working additionally at some other hospitals, versus what I'm doing, which is like purely that's all I'm doing is locums. Like all my time I'm committing to locums. I'm not doing anything else on the side. So what happens is I found this position in Iowa. There's a few different hospitals I did phone interviews with through this agency. There was South Dakota, Iowa, Wisconsin spot, several other places. And I basically just kind of shopped around essentially to see who was offering the best package in terms of compensation, flexibility of schedule, blah, 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 blah. And I really found a home run with this Iowa hospital, and it's worked out great so far. And you may be asking too, what's the advantage of doing this over something else? Well, for one, I get to pick my own schedule, and it allows me to get paid, in some cases, more than I would get paid if I was joining a routine practice or let alone a hospital salaried position, especially in certain parts of the country. So I'm not only making more money, but I have significantly more time off. So I'm basically working a schedule where I'm only working 2 to 3 weeks a month, and the other weeks that I'm off, I'm here in this adult Disneyland of mine. And that was the only way I could really, A, afford this place, B, afford this city with this place and the lifestyle I want to have in the city, and all the shoes and all the fashion stuff. So, and all the other things I want to experience in life. I need time and I need money. And also to help with this YouTube channel, having more time to be able to do this kind of stuff would be an immense advantage. So part of my time I'll be in Iowa doing my work, and the other part of my time I'll be here and enjoying my life. So that's the short-term plan. Some of the advantages, well, I guess I'll make a different video of the pros and cons of working locums and what my experience has been so far, but that's just to give you guys an indication of like why you're seeing me part-time in Iowa, part-time here, and going back and forth. Like that's what's started to happen. So I decided to do that because I didn't want to commit to a practice, because then it's almost impossible to leave. I mean, it's possible, but it's just like such a headache to do so. And you don't want to join a practice just to leave them. It's kind of douchey, because you're joining a practice with the intention of staying. So it's kind of what it is. And I wanted the flexibility of time more than anything. I mean, it helps, of course, that the pay is even better than if I was working full time, which blows my mind. But I mean, it makes sense. Like, you know, especially if I had a wife and kid or kids, or had other obligations to my hometown or wherever I was, then it'd be very difficult to just up and leave every couple of weeks just to do this kind of thing. And it's in a part of the country that is not exactly the most popular, right? So, you know, that's why it's so hard to get people out there to do those kinds of positions. And with that said, you know, you got to attract them some way, and one of those ways is by increasing the pay. So that's kind of the trade-off. Would I love to be in New York full time? Absolutely, but it's just not a reality right now with the amount of finances I would require to live the lifestyle I want to live. So it's just, it is what it is. And with that said, I think I'll cut it there. If you guys have any follow-up questions about it, feel free to ask, but otherwise I'll make a dedicated video about locums, probably more specifically for doctors that are considering it and the pros and cons and everything else. So we'll do that. You can stay tuned for that video too if you want to hold off on your questions. And we'll keep it moving.
Bye.